What's up, sir?
Hello. We're a little bit live.
We are a little bit live. Let me see here. All right.
Keep that on your side. So, yeah, I should have tested this out like at least like 24 hours before, but I did not.
All right. So I guess
This will be fun.
okay.
This will be fun. So, those of the that are on the live chat live right now, well, yeah, it is live.
Oh, okay.
And he's chugging a lot right now. And it's fine.
I
Uh, but
figured. I figured
but
I'd get it over with.
yeah, it's fine. But the thing is that we're having a good time, and the idea is to really have fun and embrace the movie that is Deadpool Wolverine. So,
So is this like starting now?
oh, it's starting now.
Okay. Is Frank coming on this?
He did not accept, so we are doing this as well. And if he does show up, well, he could give his
No,
thoughts.
he's actually asking about it. So you might want to respond to him.
Well, I do not have my iPad on hand. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to say, hey, come on in. If not, I have to go grab my iPad. So everybody, we're not officially until 2 minutes. So those of you who are watching, just let it be known. We are live right now, and I have to get Frank on here. So I'll be back in less than 2 minutes. We're not going really live until at the point. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I didn't mute. I know. Thank you. All right. I'm telling Frank it's in his Gmail.
Sorry, I'm just having some technical difficulties here.
It's okay. We have some time. So obviously this will be edited. Yeah, it's live now. So those of you get to have fun with all the technical difficulties and all the things that go around about this because it's our first foray into this kind of thing. So we get to have fun with this, at least. It's kind of like a Deadpool Wolverine thing. And I think more of Rob as Wolverine than, and I'm more like Deadpool and all joking because I'm kind of old guy that with the ugly looks. So anyhow,
How many times have you seen this movie?
saw it once in the theater
Okay.
and I had seen it several times through an HD screener, which is like a camcorder screener. So that way I could actually, pay attention to the little things. But when you fall asleep to it and you wake up in the middle of the night and it's still playing over and over and over again, You get it subliminally. Now, mind you, it's not the best, and I'm sure everybody's going to be like, that's the wrong way to do it. Why would you do that? Disney Marvel's going to hate you. Well, if Disney Marvel actually gave me a screener, that would be amazing. Thank you. But
Which they're not going to, but okay.
yeah, they're not going to go do that. But, you know, I have to play the whole Ryan Reynolds feeling of things. So Mr. Frank Rodriguez is here.
Yes, and if you would have sent it to any place other than my Gmail, I would have been here on time.
It's okay. Sorry.
I never use Gmail.
What?
That's fine. It's fine.
How do you not use Gmail?
What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's up, sir?
Are we all here to talk about Deadpool?
We are
Wolverine?
here to talk about Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Obviously, you guys got the Google Docs of what I put in,
Yes.
correct?
I I haven't even checked that.
Really? Okay. Well,
Hold on a minute.
it's kind of basic in a sense.
I mean, it's the same thing you always do, so right?
Yeah, it's the same thing that we always do. And honestly, it's us talking about the movie as it is and having fun with it. And that's the whole point. And that's the idea.
All right. If we gotta have fun, I ain't sticking around.
You ain't sticking around. What the hell?
Not if we're gonna have fun with it. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
We should
we're
not have
supposed to
fun.
actually have one more of our posse here, but unfortunately he had a little bit of a dog emergency, pet
Yeah.
emergency, so
Yeah.
but he definitely wished he could have been here.
I wish he would have too, but you know, I'm sorry. You know,
Hey, man, you come home and you find blood all over the floor. You're like, you know what?
yeah.
I'm taking time off.
No, of course you got to take care of the pets. You know, I don't think I have your Google Doc here for some reason. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
It's in
Did
your
you send
Gmail.
did you send it with the invite?
I sent it with
Oh,
I didn't send it with the invite. I sent it
ah,
to your emails directly, unfortunately.
no, that I don't have.
Okay.
Because remember, I didn't get all your stuff, so.
Yeah. Well, we're still early in the game, everybody, so keep in mind we're not really 100%, and we will get into it as soon as we get there. This is all set up at this point. I should have started earlier. But hold on. I see Frank is in the dock.
Yeah, I'm in there. I got it.
No,
Frank's in it.
I don't have it.
Okay. So let me go into Rob Moda. You gotta check your spam mail, dude.
I always check my spam mail and
Oh wait, there it is. No, I'm kidding.
nope.
Really?
Yeah, it's not in there.
Hold on. I'm gonna resend again. It's kind of gonna be blank. It's been updated.
You changed the one that I have.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. He's got nothing, everybody.
Let me check. I don't know if I received it yet. And there we go. Okay.
All right. Now we're cooking with gas.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yep, here we are, everybody. Yeah, like this is a trial in progress because this is where everything's gonna go, but hopefully we'll get it fine-tuned and refueled by the time we actually do something really live. We're just having fun. And that's the whole idea. So, but this will be our foray into doing a live podcast. So, you guys have both watched the movie, obviously.
Yep.
All right. So, at this point in this juncture, we're gonna say, "Hey, pals, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark,
I'm Robert.
And I'm Frank.
and this episode of the podcast, we're covering Deadpool Wolverine from 2024. It was just released last Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think it
know
was
some people were seeing it on Thursday.
Wednesday. Wednesday they had like special events for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's awesome. So it's the continuation of the Deadpool saga or series that we have out there, but now it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So
Right.
in this case, we get to enjoy this in full Disney Marvel rated R feeling. And the synopsis for this particular episode, Frank, do you have that?
One moment.
Wolverine breaks the Marvel universe. That's
Okay.
the only
I do have
synopsis you
that.
need, man.
All right. Well, I'll read the quick one that I got. Deadpool's peaceful existence comes crashing down when the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, recruits him to self-safeguard the multiverse. He soon unites with his would-be pal Wolverine to complete the mission and save his world from an existential threat. That's basically what they put out there. That's through multiple amounts that were out there, and then I threw that in for fun and measure. But the
Okay.
thing is that we all thought, obviously, that Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe,
Right.
which at this point we don't see. So it doesn't happen within this particular movie. And obviously, spoilers, because if you haven't
Right.
watched the movie yet, where have you been? What have you
It
been
is
doing this
not a good
weekend?
idea to be listening to this podcast right now if you haven't seen it.
Exactly.
It really
Honestly.
isn't.
Well, spoiler alert. so so
You've been warned.
you've
You've
been
been
warned.
warned.
We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff from this movie, which has
There's
been
a lot to talk about.
there's a
Oh,
lot to
there
talk
is.
there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot to probably talk about when it comes to the whole MCU and what
Yes.
this is gonna do for the MCU.
Yeah.
And also some of the announcements done at San Diego Comic-Con and stuff like that. So it kind of ties it all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And initial thoughts. What we'll go in a row. Rob, Frank, myself. What were your initial thoughts of the movie when you first saw it? What did you think about it as a whole? How does it fit within the MC universe? Uh, is it something that you expected from this particular film that's been hyped up for so long?
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Well, here's what I would say about it. So, I mean, of course, it was probably one of the most anticipated movies that everyone who is a fan of this genre has been waiting for, especially this year.
Yeah.
And when you definitely heard about Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, that was big news because, of course, Logan was supposed to be um,
Right. He wasn't gonna
his
do that.
last portrayal of that character, and and honestly, it was a great portrayal of that character. I mean, he left off at an amazing high note, so much so that even Patrick Stewart said that he was going to retire from doing Xavier. and that was his last movie for that. But that being said, when I went to see it, I would say that I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It is definitely a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely a Deadpool movie. I've seen this movie already 3 times,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
And yeah, well, the first time, you are kind of shocked that you're seeing,
Right.
finally these two characters on screen. Some of the great cameos that they have in there, they kind of take you by surprise. But then
Yeah.
you watch it a second and third time because you're trying to catch what you didn't catch it the first time, and then trying to dissect it to really see, what is this movie trying to do? Because let's be honest, this movie's not really part of the MCU kind of storyline. This movie was really, by the time you're finished, this movie was really a send off to all the Fox Marvel characters. That's basically what it was. It was basically saying, "Hey, remember these characters? Remember that, we did all these movies and everything. So this is us saying goodbye to that era." And of course, now that the MCU is going to have that owns all those Fox properties, they're going to now, of course, redo a lot of things. But I had a lot of fun. I did. The one thing that really, the question for me was after, and this is after the third time that I saw it, the question for me was, does this movie save the MCU? Is this movie, hey, the MCU is back? And my answer to that is, I think no,
No,
absolutely not.
I agree.
Me too.
So, and the reason I say that is because while it's great, it does not it doesn't instill confidence in me that, hey, the next movie is going to be as good or as much fun. Um, I would say Disney and Marvel had a great run of 10 years, which is something that no other studio can actually say. And that's a historic thing. But I don't think they'll ever, we know that they'll never have that, those 10 years again. The only thing they could do is try to maybe make movies like this, which we have fun with it and it's great. And, great, it makes, some money, but I don't think we're there where we used to be, where it was like, wow, I mean, if it's a Marvel movie, it's going to be good,
Yeah.
so yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I have fun with it, but, you know, uh, I'm still, it worries me because the next movie coming out, I don't think I'm gonna have fun with that one. So
Was going to be
Frank.
Eternals 2?
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
oh, don't get me started.
That's a whole nother
Yeah, no, it's
podcast,
okay. It's
everybody.
okay. So I agree with Rob.
Yeah.
I went in with the idea that, and it's an easy idea to go in with. If you're not going to have fun at a Deadpool movie, then they really fuck something up. But you went in, I knew it was going to be a fun movie at least. I enjoyed a lot of what was there. I Some of the cameos were awesome, and I will talk a little bit more about that later, I'm sure. But
Mhm.
as far as, is this going to be the movie that saves the MCU? Yeah, I agree with Rob. I don't think it will. It shows that you can enjoy a Deadpool movie. That's what it showed. It doesn't show anything about enjoying a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? And the way that they've got it set up, it could go either way at this point. If we get really good, solid movies like we were getting before,
Mhm.
then that could be the steps in the right direction. But it's at this point getting to where we're so far down the rabbit hole as far as quality and getting good movies are concerned, that it's going to take a lot for us to pull ourselves out of that hole.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing with this. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a great movie. Is it perfect? No, not by any means. It's it's got its flaws. There's a point in the middle where I kind of was like sitting there like, okay, all right, something's gonna happen soon, and it does. You know what I mean? But there are points where you're sitting there, you're like, I didn't feel this way in Deadpool. I didn't feel this way in Deadpool 2, but I feel this way in this one.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you. With the overall, my feeling is that honestly, for a Deadpool 3 movie, it was done very well. As far as a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie for the first rated R, well, they literally cut all the ties of saying use every F bomb known to man, give every little blood that they can on the screen, like any Deadpool movie would be, which would be rated R, meaning that Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy were able, to get full carte blanche
Right.
of the whole feeling of a Deadpool movie, which was literally started with the first one. And they did give credo to the older, which was the Fox universe, which
Right.
I do enjoy, and I love the idea and having those Easter eggs and having those people come back. I loved watching Wesley Snipes come back, Jennifer Garner come back, watching a Gambit that we didn't even get
Right.
out of Channing Tatum. And honestly, the fact that he makes fun of Channing Tatum about
He wanted it that way.
his New Orleans kind of like
Louisiana accent.
Louisiana accent, and it's like what the it's like okay, it works. We get Chris Evans back as
Right.
Johnny Storm, and we get the whole like the 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 fake twist of he's gonna say it Avengers flame on. And it's like, oh crap, we got, and we all had a funny inkling over the years that, Chris Evans would come back and make that. And it just boils down to Chris Evans' like love of comedy and giving humor to what was given to us with that whole Fantastic Four run back in the early 2000s when it came out.
Right.
And I did enjoy that. I love that aspect of it, especially at the very end with the end credit scene that we do
Yes.
get, which was a great playoff. But overall, I think it was a great Deadpool movie as a Marvel film from Disney Marvel. It was done. I'd give it about a 75%, and that's giving a
Okay.
lot at this point for the fact that of what we've been given in the past, because we got the Marvels, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and we had what? Oh,
Doctor
Doctor Strange in the
Strange.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And
Right.
a lot has been dropped over the years. Now, mind you, is this far better? Yeah, in my sense of entertaining, giving us credo and everything, and they give us a whole plot twist from what we thought was originally going to happen, which was going to be the end of the Fox Marvel that was there. Literally, it just continued it on. But I see it as a rebirth.
Yeah.
I don't think that we will get all those people back. Now, we were all teased throughout the year of having Halle Berry back as
Right.
Storm and a whole bunch of people coming back as their original characters. I did not see Wesley Snipes. I did not see Chris Evans. I kind of had an inkling because they wouldn't bring him back as Cap. But of course, Ryan Reynolds is, I guess he's got a hard on, and I'll say that flat out because obviously this is meant for adults, everybody. he had a hard on for Chris Evans and loving it. And I do love Chris Evans as Captain America, but I did love his Johnny Storm and the way
Right.
he was back in those movies because of how comic he was within it. He was that gimmick that we get from the comics as well as within those movies. So it worked perfect. Uh Unfortunately loses his skin and he kind of drops dead and he's
Right.
done. But and then we get a nod to the comics, which me as a comic purist loves the idea of Cassandra Nova, and that's Professor X's
Right.
twin sister in womb, which is kind of pulled from the comics, and not everybody will know this.
No, that was from the what is it, Michael Bendis
Yeah,
storyline,
correct.
which was great. But it actually turns out that even after that, Cassandra's not really his sister. I
Hmm.
think she was an entity or something like that that got into the womb. Something crazy like that. I
Yeah.
don't remember, but so yeah, so technically, yes, not a sister, but then yeah, it is. I don't know. So
But it kind of worked in a sense, and it gave kind of credo to a villain.
Right.
And in the end she's dispatched, so obviously she can't really come back too much. It's not like we're going to get a beyonder in any
right.
way at this point. And on
Well,
top of that,
that's why I said that, this whole movie was basically a goodbye from, for all these Fox characters.
yeah,
Because even at the end credits, you see,
Yeah.
you see the end credits where they showing a lot of behind the scenes when they were filming all these Fox,
The X-Men, yeah.
yeah, the X-Men, Elektra, all these things. And so it was basically showing like, hey, and the movie had that theme. The theme was that, these are characters that people have forgotten, but they don't realize that they really did pave the
Right.
way to the
yeah,
MCU.
they did.
And when you see, here's the great thing about it, because when I saw it, I mean, of course, it was the one thing. I mean, I clapped so hard when I saw it was when Wesley Snipes walked in
Dude,
as Blade.
Yeah.
I'm
I
so
mean, so
glad you
many,
said that.
yeah, so many people cheered, and then you see, of course, Gambit,
Picard.
and then you're like, oh, I get it. And what I saw there was Fox again paved the way for all this. But
Yeah, they did.
the one movie that you really have to give credit that really kind of saved Marvel was
Mhm.
Blade,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So you saw in that instance right there, what I saw was like, oh, we're watching the one movie that really started it all, or the one of the characters that started it all. We're watching one of the biggest colossal failures, which was Elektra, and we're watching the what if could have
Right.
happened with Gambit. So it was like a hey, here's what started it off, which was a great. And to this day, Blade is just a fantastic movie. I think it really hasn't aged, in my opinion.
The original
But
Blade you're talking
the
about, the
original
first one.
Blade, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
original
So
Blade.
Even though
so
The
it,
second one's
the
pretty good
effects
too.
are kind of off, but
That's
I
true.
mean, the effects are still. I mean, I think they still hold up a little. Pretty much this that No, I mean, what doesn't hold up? I mean, there is the only thing that I say that doesn't hold up is towards the end when this guy gets split in half. You could tell that old
yeah.
3D effects, but
Right.
like the disintegration of the vampire still holds up really well.
Hmm.
That being said, here's a character that really saved Marvel, still a great movie. Here's another character that, Jennifer Garner is actually a good actress
Yeah.
and she's done, some great work. It's just that particular movie was just a bad movie. And then of course, uh Tatum, what is it?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, I mean, is in love with this character, and he was
Right.
working for so long to have this character be put on screen. And then when Disney bought out Fox, all that got thrown out.
Yeah.
So here it is, the what if could have happened if you would have seen this.
Yeah.
So that little moment there really showed kind of like the history of Fox and the Marvel and the Marvel characters that they had, because it's true. It's just, hey, here's this little group, which was great to see it. Um, and then not only that, but probably the absolute best of, I think, my opinion, the absolute best Fox Marvel movie is Logan. I think Logan is probably the best movie that they have made, and then you see X-23 come in. So
I love X-23, by the way. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was looking for that, and the fact that they started off the movie, and I have to put dead, you know, Deadpool head away. Um, yeah, I love the fact that we got X-23, and in the very beginning we get that whole illusion that he goes back to that world, and that world was where his Logan was,
Right.
and the fact that that was the anchor, and then he had to find a new anchor, and then he winds up getting this one, which is very interesting too, because this was like loosely based upon the comics too, because originally that Logan in that particular universe, it's the 1005, which is Deadpool's.
you missed it, Zero.
Oh, it was 10,005, right?
Yeah.
Right.
10,000.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I missed a zero. But regardless, he winds up that Logan winds up accidentally killing his X-Men partners or family
Right.
because of Mysterio.
Yeah. Like Old Man
And
Logan.
yeah, old man Logan. And within this, he grabs another X or Wolverine from an X-Men universe, from another world or universe, and that person winds up coming drunk after a bender, like at a bar or something, and some group, and that's actually in another comic book. I don't have the comic book creds, everybody, uh but that's actually within a comic book thread that's out there. And I like the fact that they actually do it, and the fact that they actually use the fact that he still wears the uniform, even though Scott, Gene, Hank,
Yeah.
and everybody were telling him to wear the uniform, and then he still wears it till the time that, Deadpool shows up underneath his clothes. Now, mind you, I wore something recently at an event because they're like, here, put this shirt on. I put it over whatever I'm doing, and it's a large. It still looks really bad. It didn't look like that on him. I'm like, how thin is that stuff? Now, mind you, this goes to my little bit of nitpicking about the costume, the cowl, and everything else that goes on within the movie. Now, mind you, obviously it's for fan based things that we all love, because apparently when he puts on the cowl, when he goes against the Deadpool core, and I think they stole that from me, Pirate Core Entertainment.
I doubt it, but
Okay,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Just
You
kidding.
keep going, but
No,
go
no, no,
ahead.
I'm
you
just
go right
joking.
ahead. Yeah.
I'm just joking, everybody.
Get out there.
I'm just joking. But anyhow, they got the Deadpool core, and he puts the cowl on. It's like, oh, it's a flimsy little freaking thing. And then later on, he takes off and it looks like a helmet, and he's holding it off and hands it off to somebody later on. That's my only little nitpick. It's like, wait, wasn't that thing like shouldered on his back at one point as loose, and it shows up as hard and heavy
Look,
and
man, Reed Richards has created unstable molecules way back in the day. All of the costumes are made out of that shit these days. And yes, it can be cloth on his back, but when he goes to put it on his head, it hardens.
Yeah,
There you
listen,
go.
but remember that in
I'm
this
not going to battle
in this
Kevin
universe,
Feige.
there's no Fantastic Four yet.
Well,
But if
we'll-
there's if
we're gonna get to
Johnny
that
Storm is
later.
in there is.
We're gonna get to that later, guys. But let's talk about this particular movie. But I that was my only little nitpick about the whole movie. Obviously we wanted to see, Hugh Jackman's chest. Obviously, is like his suit just bursts out as he's helping.
Well, I
And
mean, it shows that at 55, this man is still, can still
in
work
really good
out.
shape.
Yeah,
oh
and get
yeah.
in really good shape.
The
So,
divorce didn't affect him that much.
Oh
yeah.
no, it did not.
I didn't realize he was divorced until this whole movie.
Really?
No, I did. No, I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. Like, oh, who
Wow.
got divorced and who's
He let
who in
himself go
Hollywood is,
since the
dating
divorce.
who and stuff like that. I could care less.
But they did reference, of all
Yeah.
things, what movie, Frank?
Wait, which movie?
Well, they reference a lot of things. I mean,
Oh,
I
they
know.
I
referenced
was
a
gonna
Hugh
say there's.
Jackman movie right before the Grease
Oh, The
theme.
Greatest Showman.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they not only did they do The Greatest Showman, but they
The
also
Greatest
did
Showman is playing in the car.
Yeah, right before
right.
the Grease thing. And Kevin Smith actually was sitting in the theater apparently during the time when it happened. And he was with the guy who actually directed it, and he mentioned it on his podcast. And I thought it was amazing and I thought it was funny. But I was just like, wow. It's like Kevin got to like hang out with somebody of like, movie royalty at that point. But even still, it's like they reference so many things with their own
Right.
lives. You have Wrexham in there too, because we got a Deadpool
Yeah, the
Wrexham
Deadpool with the Wrexham. Yeah.
with the soccer jersey or football's jersey. Everybody, I have to get it right from my footy friends out there. But and then we got all the other cool stuff that's involved within it, with all the Easter eggs too, because we got Kid Pool, we got
Yeah.
Head Pool, we got Lady Deadpool, Nice Pool, and then you got Ryan Reynolds referencing his old movies. That I thought was hilarious too. He goes, "Oh, I could break the fourth wall too." And I was like, "Oh, geez, here we go." And it's just like Ryan Reynolds just being Ryan Reynolds, because they mentioned Van Wilder. Then he goes into
Yeah.
the proposal, and I thought, okay, this is Ryan Reynolds just being cheeky and Ryan
Well,
Reynolds.
listen, I mean, this movie is all Ryan Reynolds. I
Oh, it
mean,
is.
Yes.
and Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is probably the only one that could actually pull off something like this.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I would love to see the behind the scenes on how many things were improv
Oh yeah.
and see how many times, because you could tell there were certain parts where you could tell that Hugh Jackman just had like this slight smirk on his face. And I'm like, I wonder what take they got this on, the right time.
Oh yeah.
This was like take 48 because he couldn't hold it in or something like that, or. So those should be fun when they finally come out.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed the music within.
Yeah, the music was really good.
Yeah.
The
The
needle
music.
drops were great on this. I mean, fantastic.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
the whole first part with the Backstreet Boys.
That was
That
surprising.
was freaking awesome.
The In
Yeah.
Sync. Well, you got Bye Bye
Oh, it's
Bye.
in sync.
Yeah, by In Sync.
NSYNC or
Okay.
Backstreet Boys?
No, no, no. It was Bye Bye Bye, performed by In Sync at the very beginning, when he does his whole little thing when he's
Right.
dealing with the Logan corpse in the very
See,
beginning.
we're not young women who know that type of stuff. So
Well, it's just I never followed the band boys, the
yeah, exactly right. We don't. There's no reason we would.
boy bands, not band
Boy
boys.
bands.
Yeah.
I was never a boy band follower, but I actually had to record. I literally copy and pasted all the music and actually referenced a friend who loves NSYNC. So
Okay.
she was like,
Nice.
"Yes, it's there." I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I love that." I was like, "All right, good." She loved the movie, but we get of all things too, not just in sync, but we get Iris from the Goo Goo Dolls
Right.
when he falls back with the TVA pad and to go
Yeah,
into the
because
world.
the dude's like down there, like, oh, here he comes. I'm about to get this ass in my face.
Oh, and we get a lot of at least two Huey Lewis tracks Now, I'm a big Huey Lewis fan and Huey Lewis in the News fan. So, of course, we get The Power of Love performed by Huey Lewis in the News as he's going back in time, going and traveling.
Right.
And we get some really cool things. We get that true Deadpool, like to the comic of him being like 4 foot, what, 5?
You're talking about Wolverine.
Oh,
Wolverine,
Wolverine.
yeah.
No,
It's
Wolverine.
5'3".
Sorry.
Well, here's the whole thing because you and I have gone back and forth, and you're like, "Whoa, it should have been comic accurate and all this stuff," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, it would not work on screen." And you
Right.
kept going at it, and then when I saw that, that was my vindication. I'm like, "Is that what you really want?" Because honestly,
he looked like a short little dwarf. Little
exactly. So tell
dude.
me
That
how.
was
So
hilarious.
tell me if that movie really would have worked. I
It
doubt it.
wouldn't have worked, honestly.
So the
It
thing, I
in
think,
your credo, and to give you credit, yes, it made sense to have Wolverine there standing toe to toe at the same height as Deadpool.
of
Yeah.
course, and not only that, but if you think about it, like, again, a lot of these things in comic books, they might look good in comic books, but in on a screen, it doesn't look the same. So when you and I were going back and forth on this, like, it's because it would not look good, and I felt like Ryan Reynolds was like, "Listen, I'm gonna put because there's a lot of crazy fans out there, and they're like, oh, it
Yes,
should
like
be,
me.
yeah, it should be comic accurate and all this stuff. Okay, we're gonna put it on screen, and then you let me know if this works for you.
And it
All right.
didn't work, honestly, and I do admit it now.
Same thing with the, like, Wolverine's cowl. While it was a fan moment, that cowl honestly is not. I
If
don't
you
think
look at
that
it, it
cowl
doesn't
does
really
not
work. They
work.
didn't animate it with the eyes as much as you would with
It just
Deadpool.
doesn't work on screen. It
No, it
just doesn't.
doesn't.
No.
And they had
So
to take it off, and that was the whole point. We got our fan moment as comic book fans, and
that's
I
it.
I do agree it with what Rob's saying. So honestly, we could do that, but we did get a couple of them. We got the feral Wolverine
Yeah.
at one point in the alleyway.
Oh, that's the Age of
Age of
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse, yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine.
Yeah.
We also got the Henry Cavill Wolverine. Now
That was
The
that's a
awesome.
Wolverine.
Cavalry.
Yeah, that's a Wolverine I would like to see on screen because, man,
Same here.
he was built like a shit brick house, man. So
Yeah, he was smoking a cigar, fixing his motorcycle, and he goes,
yeah,
it's like, and he just like launches Deadpool. And that's when he comes back in the real universe. But the one thing that we always wanted to see, and it was only just a short glimpse, is that Hulk one. It's not 181 or 187, whatever
183,
we
I
got
think.
back in the day. Uh, Literally, it's the claws with Hulk's face in the mirror
yeah.
image.
It's the cover that was done by Todd McFarlane, where it's reflecting the Hulk's image
Yeah,
off of his claws. Yeah,
yeah, and I just love that. We didn't have to have too much of that. I'm sure that Marvel will give us something later on, whether it be animated, though we have had an animated version of this
Right.
right.
before everybody. So I'm sure Marvel will acquire that and then replay it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But if we do get the full version live action, that would
By
be
the way, that
nice.
by the way, that comic cover is an Incredible Hulk 340.
Okay.
340. Okay.
Yeah, 340 with which was done by Todd McFarlane. And let me tell you, I will say this. I really, really liked the brown suit way better than the yellow suit, the one that was done by John Byrne.
Yeah, John
Ah,
That
Byrne.
they
okay.
showed, that was so much better than that yellow suit.
I was always a fan of the yellow suit. Actually, I have a plastic it's kind of the vinyl statue
Right.
of the yellow suit
Oh, okay.
of
I thought you were
Wolverine.
gonna say you had a screen accurate,
No, 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 no. I wish I did.
yellow
But
version of
no,
the
no,
comic.
no,
Okay,
no. But the
no,
thing is
no.
that I have one you got Diamond Select, I think it is, and they have their vinyl figures along where they
Right.
have you also have the what are they called? Oh, they're specific resin cast based statues.
Okay.
I didn't want to get the resin base because the resin base could cost you like $300+ and the vinyl ones could cost you about 60 to $80.
Right.
So I have that one and I do enjoy that because I love the actual original comic based look of the yellow and blue. But that's just who I am. I do love the John Byrne version with the what would we be beige and brown?
Yeah,
Uh,
basically,
Orange and
it's
brown or
dark
whatever.
brown, and
Yeah, I like that. I do still enjoy that. And that's the one that we all know.
Right.
And
That's what I grew up with. I
yeah,
mean, because when
right.
I first heard of Wolverine, it was through the Wolverine comic book, the limited series that John Byrne did, and
yeah.
that's how I got to love that character a lot. They also had a really cool scene where they recreated the cover of X-Men 251 where he was crucified,
Yes.
Yeah,
so I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
fact that he just like walks away, he's like, "Oh, no, 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 this is not my
yeah.
time." He just walks way out of
I
it.
believe I believe on that in that issue is when he first meets Jubilee, because Jubilee I think is the one that took him down from being crucified or something
Oh
like that. But
wow.
yeah, so I think so. But yeah, no, it's they did some great fan service when it came to that.
Yeah, they
I
they
thought it
did a
was
lot
gr-
of fan
yeah, I
service.
thought it was really great that they did that. Um, I think what they should have done just to kind of even show you just I thought, man, it would not only was it great that they showed him at 4'7", but if they would have gotten Danny DeVito to do it,
oh my god,
they're not gonna just like jab that like right into Mark's heart just so he could see us like, do you think that
you
looks
really
good
think
now?
that's good? Yeah,
I actually was looking forward to the idea of having that just for the comic relief of it. And honestly, I would have loved it and be like, "Yes, we got it." It was like, and everybody be like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Because honestly, I prefer the idea of the joke, and it would be a true Russo's brother joke for the fact that, and on top of that, you would think that he would Ryan would have access to DeVito with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because
right.
of
Right.
McElhenney.
Yeah,
and I think McElhenney actually does a voice in this particular movie.
Well, one thing
he
I'm glad
probably
that they
does.
didn't do is like the trunks, because that's the one thing I hate about superheroes. Like the one thing I hate about like Superman's costume
Oh, okay.
is the trunks.
Yeah, yeah.
That was from a bygone era of the freaking 30s and 40s. Something that's just not something that you see nowadays, and people are like so hardcore on it. Like when I see the new Superman with the trunks, I'm like, that looks ridiculous. That just
Okay.
looks stupid, but that's just me. So I'm glad they didn't give that to um Hugh Jackman to wear, because then he would have looked really dumb.
Yeah, I know.
So but yeah, and I like the fact that they did Patch, but
Yeah,
the rumor was that it was going to be Radcliffe,
Yeah,
Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe
Radcliffe. Yeah.
right, to do that. So which I would have been fine with, but hey, listen, we got Henry Cavill. So
yeah,
We got
exactly.
Cavill, and honestly, he even says it. Ryan says it at the very end. Deadpool saying, "Hey, you know, it's better than what they have down the road anyway." Meaning,
it's better than the
DC.
people down the road
They're gonna
have the
treat you
way they
so much
treated
better than
you.
they do down the road.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually fantastic.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the amount of jabs that he took, especially at Disney too. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
he just did not hold back. I mean, I wonder how many things Kevin Feige actually told us, like, no, we're not putting that in there. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that just, is like, nope, not gonna happen. And I would love to know what those things were.
same here. I'm sure that like we already got into a little bit with quotes in the particular film. Uh, the one that I love is that there are 206 bones in the human body, but
right.
207 if you watch Gossip Girl.
When he watches Gossip Girl.
Oh
When he
yeah, yeah.
watches, yeah.
Yeah,
Because Blake Lively.
right. So no, again, it's I think everything about it was fantastic. Um, I feel like this is just not something there's not going to be a Deadpool 4, I don't
No,
think.
I don't think so either.
Um,
I think they're just gonna incorporate that. It's already been listed that the next rated R Disney Marvel film will be a Blade movie, which is pretty funny for the fact that if you watch the San Diego Comic-Con coverage that's out there, they actually have Wesley Snipes, and he goes, "I have nothing against Mahershala and everything else," and there wasn't he's stating that there was no feud with him and Ryan Reynolds. I still think there's something that was a little
There's
bit.
no, there was so in an interview he said that at the time, he just Ryan Reynolds just has a type of humor that is not his kind of style. So that's why they kind of like,
Yeah,
didn't like each other, I guess,
not only
or
that,
he
but
didn't.
on Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes didn't want to be there. He did not want to be making that movie.
Right.
The not the
true.
story that they had.
Yeah,
He wanted to do like the one that they had originally thought of, that was supposed to be carrying over from like the original Blade, where there were other daywalkers and stuff like that. And at the end, when they're showing that was supposed to be like Morbius,
Right.
at the end of the movie, and that was supposed to be like a whole thing that was going to carry over to, granted, the second one is great, the storyline is awesome, but that storyline was still something that he was like, we really want to keep continuing with that storyline that we were originally going to come up with. And he didn't want to be doing that one that they did. Well, they originally had said like, oh, the vampires have already taken over. It's the apocalypse, and Blade is helping people during the apocalypse, and that's actually the story he wanted to do.
Well, there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of great stories. Listen, I mean, I've sat down with people from, from the industry and stuff like that, and they've told me stories where, stuff that you just never heard of, and you're like, "Oh,
Right.
wow." And I mean, I
yeah,
don't I don't go out there and repeat them because, they say that to you in confidence, but it's amazing the amount of stuff that's out there behind these movies and
Yeah.
what it takes to get them done and all the controversy and and sometimes um the stuff that they have to settle for because some executive out there thought that, hey, I know better than you guys, and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but yeah, no, it's I thought the Wesley Snipes, like I said, I thought the Wesley Snipes part was great. It was nice to see him kind of move again. Although I have a feeling there was a lot of, probably doubles in there
Oh yeah, for sure.
on him, but he is what, 60, 62, 63, something like that, or
About 62. Yeah, I would say.
yeah, something like that. But I mean, listen, I mean, if that spinning back kick, if that was him, man, I mean, it's good to see him in action again. That's definitely for sure.
I love that they actually stated something out of a Punisher bazooka that was there.
Yeah.
They made a joke of that, and he goes,
They
"Oh,
did they made a mistake though,
okay, go ahead."
because there's only been four Punishers, but Ryan Reynolds says five. He says, weren't there five Punishers?
Well, you got John Bernthal. You
Right.
got
Yeah.
You have Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph
You have
Lundgren,
you're right, John Bernthal. You have
Ray,
Ray Stevens.
Ray
mhm.
Stevens. Yeah.
Right. And then what's his name? That he
Thomas Jane.
Thomas
Thomas
Jane.
Jane. Yeah, those are the four right there. So I'm trying to figure out where the fifth one came from.
Well, somebody is hired that we don't know.
Well, they want to keep John Bernthal from what I hear
I
as
know that too.
Punisher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I hear too as well. And I would like that for the fact that that's the only one that we know as of now, unless they bring back Thomas Jane
Oh
as an
God, no,
alternate.
please. No, no, no.
Yeah, well, it is the multiverse, so obviously we can't get Ray Stevenson back.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I think they're done with this whole multiverse thing. Um, in a way. I think that they're
Well,
trying
by
to
Secret Wars, we're gonna have multiple people, and I wouldn't put it past the MCU to be like, all right, we'll have them in, and kind of like, okay, here they are, and we eliminate their character as soon as
Listen, the
they show
rumor
up on
was that they were
screen.
gonna have, what was it, Nicolas Cage come back as Johnny Blaze,
Oh yeah.
Ghost Rider.
Right.
There was a lot of rumors,
They
out
they
there.
Everybody was
eliminated a
coming back.
lot of stuff, but the cool things that we did get were Wesley Snipes, and we got Chris Evans back as Human Torch. Honestly, that was, and Daphne Keene stole the show with her
Right.
heart and her acting, honestly, in my opinion. And
No, I think the one that really stole the show was actually Hugh Jackman. To be honest with you, when you watch Hugh Jackman in this movie, he is such a great actor. That there are times I was like, does he know what movie he's in? Because I mean, there was some great moments there. I was like, I don't think he's
Yeah.
playing. I don't think he's, in the. This is not the right movie.
no, no,
He is such a high caliber actor that those moments with him were just fantastic.
yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, they were just great. And it was just like, wow, okay, a little bit not what this movie is, but I'm glad it's in there. But yeah, that to me is who stole the show on this was just Hugh Jackman brought in some really great moments
yeah,
in there, which were fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I thought Daphne King was great, and Daphne King has, grown up to be a fantastic, actor herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Hugh is the one that really stood out for
And I
me, I think.
agree. I agree that, definitely Hugh Jackman really bought it for this movie.
hmm
Um, but seeing Wesley Snipes as Blade again, when you first see it, it's like, like in my head, I was like, it's the thing that I didn't know I wanted, but I needed.
Right.
I
You know what I
woohooed
mean?
loud at the drive-in when
I
I
was
saw
so happy
this.
to see it. I was
I
like,
was so happy
holy
to see
shit,
it.
it's
I was
Blade.
like, Yahoo! And everybody's like, what are you
And
doing, bro? you know,
I don't think that other Blade movie is ever going to come out. I'm
Well,
just
and
gonna
that was the jab that they actually put in there because
yeah,
it was just one of those
say it.
things that is like, oh, well, I'm the only Blade.
Exactly right.
And
There's
I'm
only going
and
to ever be one.
and there's only gonna ever be one, and I think it's him taking or it was a jab at, hey, when the fuck is this other movie ever
Yeah.
gonna get made? You know, they've gone over two directors already bought out. It's
Every
crazy.
time I turn around, they're saying that the actor Mahershala Ali is walking away. You know what I mean? Like every time I
yeah.
turn around, I see that.
I don't believe anything until I see it. And the fact is that we got the original Blade back. Now
So
here
good.
we don't have the current Blade that is
Right.
supposed to be in the MCU. So Kevin Feige, if you're
And
out
pe
there,
and people are saying, oh, well, maybe they should bring Wesley Snipes back. I'm like, guys, I mean, Wesley Snipes being 62, um, does not move the way he
he
used to
did.
when he was back then. I mean, he was a martial artist. He was a real martial artist, and he got a chance because, remember, Wesley Snipes used to do all these dramatic roles, and of
Right.
course,
yeah.
but
To
he
Wong
got
Fu.
his chance to do martial arts, what he really has been doing all his life.
Yeah.
On the movie Passenger 57 is where people really got to see
Always
that
bet on black.
he could be an action star. And then in Blade, he just decided, of course, he showed off more of his martial arts, and people were like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Can
And
he
I
do?
still go ahead.
No, I was gonna. Can he still do the same thing nowadays? No, he cannot.
No,
You
he
know,
actually admitted that in an interview
Yeah.
recently to at San Diego Comic Con, and he goes, "Thank you to all the CG people because literally it's like a thank you of hey, you made me look great," and it's just like honestly, he was
Realistically, how
representation.
different would that be from any other movie that's coming out these days? Because really, a
Exactly.
lot of them are not doing their own stunts.
Well,
no,
on
that's
top
true.
of that, he got to get a little jab in and poke a little fun in what we do in the shadows as himself as Blade. If you saw last season, everybody. So if you don't watch what we do in the shadows, which was based upon a I'm
Movie.
forgetting the name. Taika Waititi's
Right.
original movie.
Yeah.
So just watch it on I think it's on Hulu. So check
Hulu,
it
yeah.
out. But last season it was pretty cool because they talked about Interview with the Vampire. Everything was all vampire based, and then they brought in Wesley Snipes, and it was hilarious.
So, that's also my favorite quote. Motherfuckers are still trying to skate uphill, ice skate uphill.
Again, they have some great moments there. The only thing that I could say that I had a problem with this movie because like once you start watching it for like the third time and stuff like that,
Yeah, you got to nitpick it. Yeah,
it's more like the TBA thing. It for people who
uh,
just haven't watched any of the Disney shows,
correct. Yeah, I do
they're
agree.
they're
Yeah,
gonna be like, So who are these people?"
yeah.
Right.
B-15. She shows up. Oh, she likes Peter Pool.
Right.
And it's like, what
Everybody
the?
likes Peter Pool.
And there's a
So
Peter Pool in every Deadpool universe, apparently.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's also you got B-15, Paradox. We've never even saw before. We
That
don't.
was what ticked me off.
Yeah,
That paradox. You had like 3 seasons that you could have introduced this guy, and
correct.
even if it's him in the background being like, "Well, when the fuck are we gonna do this thing differently?" You know what I mean? Like, I like just being mad in the background. I would have
Yeah.
been happy just to know that, yeah, there's that asshole in the background again. He's gonna play a part sometime later.
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. It's a character that just came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, okay, so
Right.
who is this character?
He was
And
dedicated to this one timeline that was destined to die in 1,000 years. He
right,
wanted to rush it so he could get advancement, kind of like anybody in any business is like, I
Yeah,
want to get
exactly.
advanced up into a better role in my job. And then they're kind of placating to that whole business role of everything. But regardless, they're still playing around with people's lives, which is so funny too, because we all see it on a daily basis in our own lives.
Oh, I do.
And it's their way of trying to adhere to our own humanity and what we deal with on a daily basis. But they're kind of little snide thing. We're here to get away from reality, everybody. And that's the whole point. We don't want to be reminded of reality. Hell, we want to get away. I want to see Alpha Flight. I want to see a Sasquatch. I
Oh my
want to see
god.
a Puck. Give me Alpha Flight at this point. Give me a real Canadian superstar group. Sorry, Ryan Reynolds. I'm not here to insult you, but I'm sure there is a super group that's out there that is Alpha Flight.
I'm sure
Maybe
there
Blake
is.
Lively could be.
The thing
The
is
lead.
that Alpha Flight is just one of those groups that, unless you're a diehard comic book fan, um, probably is not going to work out.
I know,
True.
but
That's true, but you could say that about Guardians of the Galaxy too.
that is
True,
true.
that is very true, and you got a point there. It would take a visionary like James Gunn to bring
Right.
something like that. If you would have done Guardians of the Galaxy more serious, it would have tanked,
Oh yeah,
Exactly
I
right.
think.
I think so
So
too. Yeah,
because it was so comedic that you fell in love with it and you fell in love with the characters too.
yeah,
So I don't know how in Alpha Flight, I don't know how they would, do something like that.
yeah. Same here. It
Plus, you got to remember in Alpha Flight, there's a lot of mutants. So, and
yeah, yeah. That is true. Yeah,
You know
North
that's
Star,
technically not a picture
Aurora.
of Deadpool, right?
I'm sorry,
I said, you know that's technically not a picture of Deadpool, right?
what, this here?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it?
It's a picture of Snake Eyes.
Is it
As
really?
Deadpool.
It's a picture of Snake Eyes and somebody redid it as Deadpool.
That
Oh,
is
okay.
true. Yeah.
People are talking. Hey, he's criticizing my background, people, but that's okay.
It's all right.
I'm just over
I'm
here
just
like
saying.
I'm just over here just
Have fun.
switching backgrounds to see which one looks the best.
No, you know
So,
what I thought was interesting? They addressed, and I'm really glad that they did. They
Hmm.
addressed something in the beginning that you wouldn't have thought about. When he gets his gear from the TVA, he's like, "Oh my goodness, adamantium katanas,"
Yes.
which made perfect sense because everybody knows Wolverine's adamantium claws will go through a steel sword with no problem.
right.
Hmm.
So they set it up early, like, hey, these are adamantium katanas. That's why he can go toe to toe with with Wolverine and not worry about them breaking.
That
Yeah.
no, that was actually I thought that was actually clever. And now that they're going
Yeah,
to introduce adamantium into the MCU,
Mm.
so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that like talking about the other cameos that we got. Pyro, obviously, the original kid
Pyro.
who
Yeah.
is in the original Fox series. We got a version of Juggernaut that was
Oh,
not Vinnie Jones.
I would have loved if it would have been, but
But that guy was pretty you know, sinister looking himself too. And I thought he was pretty good. He's a renowned actor too, as well. I didn't get his name completely, but I
Lady
did
Deathstrike.
recognize him. Hmm?
Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, Lady Deathstrike was in there
Lady
too.
Deathstrike was in there. They had Toad, and actually, what's his name? Ray Parks was actually playing Toad, which
Correct.
was great.
Really? I
Yeah.
kept saying that's not Ray Park, but I guess
It
yeah.
was him.
No,
Yeah.
it was him, and then they got Tyler Mane to play, of course, Sabretooth.
Sabretooth, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I
which
thought that
was
was
pretty cool, I
yeah.
thought. I got to meet Tyler Mane, I'm gonna say about 5 years ago at a CT Horror Fest, and he was really cool.
I like
So
his version of Sabretooth better. The
Oh, then what's his name?
uh,
Leaf Schreiber.
Liv
Lee Schreiber,
Schreiber.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was a horrible, horrible Sabretooth.
I like Leaf Schreiber as
Oh,
an
Liv
actor.
Schreiber's a great actor. I
No,
mean, I
he's
love
I
great.
just
Yeah.
watching him.
didn't think it worked well with him as
That was
that
not his
particular
thing.
character. I it didn't work.
The thing
But
is that
yeah,
it could have worked with him, but again, we all know that that movie suffered from a director who did not want to do anything that will resemble the comic book character the right way.
correct.
Because Ryan Reynolds was playing Deadpool, and
Oh
he even
yeah.
told him like, "This is not Deadpool," and he
Yeah.
even told him it's like you either play it this way, or you're off the movie.
Yeah.
So this is a person who had no vision whatsoever.
Hmm.
And I'm sure, I mean, I could guarantee you that, Ryan Reynolds, revenge on having a not only an accurate Deadpool, but a movie that just
Oh,
made so much damn money. And that then
take
later,
that.
then later he could actually go in the second movie and just put a bullet into his own Deadpool or whatever it is. I thought that was fantastic. So yeah, no, I think Liv Schreiber, if he was gonna be if he was gonna be Sabretooth, he had to have somebody that could say, okay, we need to make him look like Sabretooth,
Yeah, I agree.
and but they didn't do that. So yeah, so Tyler Mane still remains, the better Sabretooth out there.
Looking overall with the the
Right.
beard, the hulking like hair,
Right.
his claws, and his hulking personality.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's a very large man. Yeah, I think he's about 6 foot 4.
Well,
And I'm
so is what is it? Hugh Jackman.
yeah,
So
I think he might even be closer to 6'8".
who?
really. Yeah, I know
Tyler Mane?
he
Yeah.
mentioned something about wrestling at the last event that I was at. Like he got involved with amateur wrestling, and I was like, whoa. I was shocked about that.
So Tyler Mane, let me see if I could look him up to see how tall this man is. Build height, 6'9".
Woo!
Damn.
That is tall.
That is tall.
Wow. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be bigger than that because he
He's
was still higher than.
Undertaker height.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and Kane.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow, he's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, he
Yeah.
has. Yeah.
Yeah, he played Michael Myers in Halloween. He done a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah. Nice guy too. If you ever get to meet him, go to conventions. Everybody support your actors. Sorry,
The
not
ones
to
that the ones that
keep
are not
pop.
the ones that are not working.
Well, honestly, it's like they're all working, but the thing is to supplement their income in between jobs, they have to
Are
go to
they really
conventions.
working?
Yes,
Wait,
they
they're doing
are.
B movies. Okay,
Well,
so
I was surprised at Alicia Whitty, and out of the blue, she goes, I get a message through Instagram saying, "Hey, go watch Long Legs." And I'm like, "Okay, what is this out of the freaking blue? You're not asking me go to New Jersey's Christmas festival in July because she'll always have a Christmas album?" No, she did a horror movie which was called Long Legs. Now it's being heralded as one of the biggest films out there in horror.
Oh,
And
look at that.
yeah,
haven't
so
seen it yet, but
I
I'm
have
gonna
not
say
seen it yet, and she's mad
that's
at
a
me
lot of
for it.
hype.
That is a lot of hype. But honestly, I do care for what she does, and she's a great singer and pianist. But I I've yet to watch the movie. I will watch the movie eventually. It's a Nick Cage film
Nick
too.
Cage, right?
Yeah, and he's only in there for
Supposedly,
a fraction amount of time.
yeah.
People.
They said like the makeup is so good that it's you won't be thinking that you're looking at Nick Cage or some shit like that.
But to step aside from that, let's keep on moving forward.
Let's go with the movie that we're here to talk about.
Exactly. So right now with the the movie at hand, Deadpool Wolverine, we already talked about a lot of stuff. We talked a little bit about the music in there, and I just love how they have so many cool songs in the movie. And now I wouldn't be surprised if the uh the actual album sales or online album sales go through the roof. Because honestly, everything is streaming, but everybody will download the actual Deadpool Wolverine
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
soundtrack.
there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I mean, so
You got "Make Me Lose Control" by Eric Carmen. The one thing they didn't have in this movie,
Lady in Red.
nope. Wham! What was the
Oh
biggest
well,
part of the last two films? Wham! So they didn't have
I
Wham in
think
this picture.
that's more like Deadpool Vanessa,
yeah.
Yeah, and
which
I was
I
glad that we got that little ending scene too with Deadpool and Vanessa with like Wade, and how Wolverine says, "Hey, give me you know, Mary Poppins," and he goes talk to the girl, and it was so weird because you know that the whole change of from the last film that he changed everything, and then of course now he has a regular job with Peter where he sells cars and he staples on a stupid wig, and he didn't have that connection with Vanessa anymore.
right.
He wasn't himself anymore, and that's where he lost traction. You
Right.
know, he lost his gusto, like he didn't have any sperm in his balls.
Well, I
Okay.
don't think it was that. I think it was more of a he just didn't he's very selfish, and from the very beginning he is a selfish character.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
a character that just he thinks about himself only. I mean, he was a mercenary, so I think she grounded him definitely. But it's like she said, as soon as he got turned down for the Avenger spot that he wanted, he just didn't have that zest for life.
Yeah, he gave up.
He kind of gave up on everything. And
Yeah,
I think that's where,
yeah, that interview with Happy Hogan of all people
Uh,
being shot
wait. So
down.
what were you? You were the chauffeur. Yeah. And then what now?
He has some good jabs in there, and they had some good
Yeah,
Easter eggs in there when you watch when you look at the background from like the prototype Captain America's shield.
yeah.
Um,
Yep.
you
His
had
Iron Man uh, head that the kid was wearing, which
it's
was
supposed to
Peter
be
Parker.
Peter Parker, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And the interesting thing, so something I heard that was very interesting, which the reason, so like you saw a photo of Tony Stark
Right.
that's supposed to be with Peter Parker, and the reason they covered that was because there's a finite amount of times that they can actually use Spider-Man in movies. And so if they would have shown Peter Parker, then they would have actually shown, say, hey, you did a movie with Peter Parker in it. So they are very smart about saying, hey, no, we cannot show Peter Parker at all because we still got some movies we got to make. So I thought that was very interesting. They also had one of the what is it? One of the Iron Man uh remember the drones that he had for Avengers 2? Those what do they call those? The
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
that Ultron actually it was, came out of
Right.
one of those. So they have
Uh,
one of those masks also on the shelves.
Interesting.
yeah.
And
Okay.
they also had an Infinity loop that was the same one I think that Tony Stark was looking at in Avengers Endgame where he discovered time travel.
Hmm. Interesting.
So they had a lot of really cool things like the moving little sculpture in one of the movies where Tony Stark was telling Pepper Potts this about it moving or something like that. It was in the background. So they had great Easter eggs in this movie. And again, there's a lot of fan service in this thing. I just think that, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully it's going to make tons of movies. As a matter of fact, I'll be very
Yeah,
interested
it's
to see.
already
Let
like
me
in the
see.
190 million or something like that.
Oh, no, I heard even more. So,
Really?
yeah.
Well, that was the
Opening
same
weekend you're
day that I
talking about.
saw it. So,
Let me see something here. Box Office Mojo.
What we
So,
got?
so Deadpool and Wolverine right now have 47 million, but worldwide is what I'm trying to figure out because I think somebody predicted that it's going to be like at 450 million just for the weekend from here
right.
and worldwide, which is
Wow.
freaking crazy. So, and you know what? I think it's great. I think this movie
No, it deserves to be.
Oh yeah.
it deserves to be what it is. And you know what? Why not, man? I mean, theaters are suffering so bad that, if it could get them out, this is the kind of stuff that we all like. I mean, I went to a fully packed theater.
Oh, no, mine was not as full as I would have expected.
Oh
However,
wow.
I saw it on a Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Oh,
Oh,
really,
that's
well,
people
why.
are probably
yeah,
Yeah.
still
that's
working,
why.
you know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Ryan Reynolds is Marvel Jesus.
So, you know what? Right now, as of right now, domestic, oh wow. So domestic 205 million,
Hmm.
Okay,
international 233 million.
nice.
Worldwide, as of today, $438 million.
Still a lot of money.
That is
Will it be
crazy.
Avatar, please? Let it be Avatar,
Uh,
please?
uh, we could
You know what'll
only,
happen? He'll just put that motherfucker in the theaters again.
yeah, no, he's a spiteful little bitch.
Cameron? Okay.
Cameron, yeah. And I'm hoping that when the Russo brothers are gonna bring back, so
Well, yeah,
I don't
we
know
we
if you,
could go into to the news of what's going on now. We kind of like discussed Deadpool Wolverine for a while now. Let's move into more of the news of Panels to Pixels universe
Okay.
with the San Diego Comic-Con. So we got some spoilers out there, everybody, obviously, but you probably already know if you've been like me, sitting on your couch, watching YouTube, watching the panels. What did we get? So, Rob, start with the first one you started talking about.
So yeah, so one of the things is, of course, the news that they're bringing back the Russo brothers to do Avengers. What is it? 5 and 6.
Yep, Secret Wars and
See,
Doomsday.
Doomsday. So they changed the name from Kang's Dynasty or something like that to
Correct.
Doomsday, which is a little more fitting, I think,
Yes.
because if you go by the comic books, the way Secret Wars is, it is about Doom.
Yeah, Doom is Doom.
So,
Yeah.
and then of course, the biggest news that everybody was and even though I heard rumors about it, but the biggest news was that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU to play Doctor Doom.
Yep.
There's a lot of
Right.
people that are, really hyped about it, but there's also a lot of people that are upset about it because they just think that it was a cheap thing that Marvel is doing, which I partly agree with that.
I'm half and half.
I'm half and half on that.
Yeah, I'm half and
I'm
half.
half on half because I think that,
He could pull it off,
well,
and then, but it's a easy given. And my feeling would always be, give it to somebody who's the unknown actor to
doesn't
let
have
them
to be on.
shine.
It doesn't have to be unknown. Honestly, I think who they should have bought back?
Go
Just
ahead.
this guy Mickelson.
Mads Nicholson?
Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen.
Nicholson. I think he would have done a fantastic Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he played in the Doctor Strange
correct.
movie.
So,
Yeah.
just have him come in because if he's going to be based off of another universe, then sure, I think he would have been great. But what people don't realize is that in the
Everybody
comic book,
knows the face of Robert Downey Jr.
well, in the comic books, there was a version of Doctor Doom that it was Tony Stark
Okay.
instead of him becoming,
Iron Man.
Iron Man, he became Doctor Doom. But for me, it was like I said, half and half. One, I think it's great because bringing back the Russo brothers and then bringing back, of course, Robert Downey Jr. gets you kind of hyped, almost brings back that nostalgia of like, oh, remember when we were hyped for, Endgame and all those things, right?
Yes. Yeah, I know.
But I think this is also Disney's way of saying, shit, we
If it ain't
have.
broke, we're not gonna fix it.
Well, no, I think it's more like, hey, we have to bring back a familiar face. I
Yeah.
think people for 10 years they got used to all these actors that were playing these great characters and they ended with such a fantastic movie and then they're
Hmm.
trying to bring back, the what is it, the young Avengers. They're trying to bring back all and people just don't give a shit. It's
Kind of like
like,
the Thunderbolts. People are like, "Oh crap!" And hold on, but you have Harrison Ford now instead
Right.
of
William Hurt.
William Hurt
right.
as Thunderbolt Ross. Oh yeah, he shaved his mustache so that because of political issues. Now, mind you, that's a easy segue into for recasting. Okay, fine. I'm looking forward to seeing what we do get with Captain America Brave New World because I want to see that whole Red Hulk fight with our new Captain America. And I'm glad that they changed the costume too, by the way, because the one costume that we got at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show
Yeah.
was a little bit too comic book accurate. In this case, it looks almost like the Winter Soldier, or yeah, the Winter Soldier outfit that Chris Evans had.
That goes back to me again for me saying, sometimes comic accuracy is not all
Not
that not there.
exactly. Yeah,
What
it's
works
true.
on paper does not work on film, and that was one of them. I mean, I think that, it was like
Yeah,
that white costume just did not
it
look
just
good.
did not work good. Yeah.
It's the same reason why I think when I saw Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah, to me, it looked too fake to me.
it looked
Yeah.
horrible.
It
Absolutely
looked
horrible.
too costumey for
Don't
me.
get me wrong. I think
Jennifer Garner always looks
his
wonderful.
fighting scenes were great,
Oh yeah,
Right.
but the costume was just horrible.
yeah. The costume, they could change that too. By the way,
What do you
and
mean?
they could literally change that by another film or two and be like, hey, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I,
that's if they ever make it. Which I don't.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do because they didn't really say. Because even at the very end of the movie, Deadpool says, "Hey, can my friends come?" And literally,
Right.
it's mentioning, X-23, who we do see at the very end having dinner
Right.
with them all, with Mary Poppins.
But remember, they said we'll see what we'll do.
Yeah.
Right. So that's basically, also Disney's way of saying, yeah, let's put that on the back burner for now.
Well, they
Uh,
do love Jennifer Gardner too, because she does family-oriented films too. Anyway, by the way, on Netflix and everything else, and I love her little jab at the whole Daredevil thing. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." She goes, "Ah, it's okay."
yeah, no, like I said, they took a lot of jabs, and they were just they were relentless and on some of the things that they were doing. So, but yeah, but going back to New York City, no, actually San Diego
San
Comic-Con.
Diego.
Yeah, those were like the big
Heavy hitters.
stories that they actually put out a clip showing like a little teaser of Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I watched that too. You can
Yeah,
find it on YouTube, everybody, by the way,
if it
before
hasn't
it
been
gets
taken,
taken down.
if it hasn't already been taken
But
Yeah,
down,
right.
but
also, I thought it was awesome because it's like literally at a 1965,
Yeah.
and literally the way it's presented as if within the comics during that time when they originally the Fantastic Four was created.
well, one of the design inspirations was Sid Mead. So anybody who knows who Sid Mead is out there, he's actually the one who gave
Hmm.
Blade Runner really its look.
Okay.
When it comes to the way, because he's what they call a futurist.
Hmm.
So his design, if you ever look up Sid Mead, his designs are really very unique. And just while they do have kind of like a retro look to them,
Hmm.
they're really stylish. So they did a lot of that. As a matter of fact, they showed the Fantastic Four car um in that
And
in
Deadpool
San
Wolverine. Yeah.
no, in the
Exactly.
San Diego Comic Con, they showed the actual one that comes out for the movie. And
Oh,
it
okay.
yeah, and it has a very what I would say definitely looks like a car from the 1960s, like a sports
Okay.
car from the 1960s, except it flies. So it's really cool. I mean, they have this really cool thing, going that I really like the style of it, and I'm hoping that it really works.
Awesome. If you also want to see any of that kind of style of artwork that Rob was just mentioning, if you go to there's a museum in Queens called the Museum of the Moving Image. They do have Blade Runner stuff that is there. And about 2 years ago, I went to Living with the Walking Dead exhibit, but they have everything from all of Hollywood that's there as well. You could see stuff of like like life mask casts of Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire. You could see
Nice.
all the stuff from Tim Burton that's there from like stop motion from his particular films. You can see other life masks of other actors there as well. There's a whole Muppet exhibit. So I highly recommend that. And that's the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, New York. But cheap pop for them. But the fact is, you do get some cool stuff that's in there, like what Rob was talking about with the designer of Blade Runner. And
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. So if you guys are out in the New York City area and looking for something, go to there and do that, as well as Madame Tussauds, because they have a Marvel exhibit too, by the way. But other than that, yeah, San Diego Comic Con came out with a lot of cool stuff,
Yep.
and I highly recommend everybody to watch the YouTubes that are out there that they actually drop of the particular panels that are going on. You can see the whole Marvel panel. Somebody always leaks one. Honestly, I got to watch that. I got to watch the whole Dead City one with Jeffrey D. Morgan and Lauren Cohan. There was a few others that I had it on in the background. I had to have them on and nonstop all weekend. So I was inundated with it, and they actually interviewed Bruce Campbell at one point about and gave him trivia questions about his own movies, and he couldn't. And he goes, "Wait, I did." Wait, he kind of missed one, and it was based upon something that he did voiceover work on too, by the way.
Mm.
So it's pretty funny. But he got everything else that he did was, which was like pretty much Evil Dead, anything Sam Raimi, he gets it
Right.
right away, you know. But
So some other news
Mhm.
from Comic-Con. So, we mentioned the Russo brothers. We mentioned, of course, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah,
Just so everybody knows, so Avengers Doomsday is 2026, and then Secret Wars 2027, a year later, which is crazy.
yeah, to do them
Uh,
back to back
yeah,
filming
back to
again.
back. So, in Captain America, they had footage that confirms the origin of MCU's adamantium. So that means that, so for those of you who saw, what was it, the Eternals and the big celestial that's, basically
Yeah,
coming out of the Pacific Ocean. So I guess there's adamantium or he's made of adamantium or
yes,
something like that. So
that's where they get the adamantium from.
that's where they're getting the adamantium from.
Yeah,
Also in Captain America, the role of Juan Carlos Esposito is revealed to be the leader of the Serpent Society.
yes,
So that's pretty cool there. And of course, like we said, the Fantastic Four, full title Fantastic Four, of course, is Fantastic Four First Steps, and it's confirmed to be set in the 1960s. From what Kevin Feige, they say that Kevin Feige said that it's set in the 60s, but in another timeline.
yes. It's an
So,
yeah. This is where the multiverse comes into play, and it gets very interesting.
right.
So this is where we go from there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we get.
Yeah. So, I mean, in
Yeah, it'll be
terms of
interesting.
that, I mean, there's, I think, what was it? James Gunn, they revealed the logo of DC Studios, which is basically still the DC logo
Hmm.
from comic books, except it just says Studios. That's kind of stupid. At least for me, it is. I was like, okay, you haven't told me anything. And for those who are Star Trek fans, they showed the trailer to Section 31. So a new show that's coming out. They also showed a teaser. What was it? A teaser for Lower Decks. So if anybody watches Lower Decks or hasn't watched Lower Decks, it's the animated series from Star Trek, which is actually very, very funny, and it's just
Right.
so lighthearted. It's just a
Yeah.
great, great show. And of course they showed what was the other one? Star Trek Enterprise. No, not Enterprise. Brave New
Brave New
World.
Worlds.
Brave New
Brave New
World.
World. They
Yeah.
showed they showed a clip of the new season, so that's believe it or not, that's probably my favorite Star Trek right now.
Well,
It's really
Paramount's
good.
been putting out a good amount of work when it comes to Star
Yeah,
Trek, and they've been doing that ever since Picard started years ago, and then with that trend and following with that trend.
yeah.
So
And
I
they also
think,
showed the
yeah,
Penguin. So for those of you, so they showed the full trailer for the Penguin, and that's about it. I mean, there's still a lot more stuff out there, but
yeah,
one
the
of the
Joker
really,
movie.
yeah, the Joker movie. They show the full trailer to the Joker movie, and if you want to watch something that's super super cool that's out there, if you can find it on YouTube or anywhere on the internet, they showed this um thing that they did with drones in the air,
Oh
where
yes, through
so
Petco. It was a
yeah,
promotion of Deadpool Wolverine, everybody.
well, it's Deadpool, Wolverine, and then at the end they showed Fantastic Four
With Galactus at the
with
very end.
Galactus, and it is just a fantastic look. I mean, the things that they could do with drones nowadays. I mean, the past it
Yeah,
used to
it's
be,
amazing.
it's amazing. In the past, it used to be like either you have an airplane passing by with a banner, or what is it, or you'll have maybe good timing when it comes to fireworks. But the
Right.
fact that now you could do these drones and put them up there and just have like this animated thing happen in the sky is
That
fantastic.
is true. A
Yeah.
blimp. Actually, I did something for the Boys and Girls Club recently this past week through a bigger company. I'm not going to say what I do, but it was to get them involved with robots at one
Nice.
point and programming and how to show them how to use it with the Boys and Girls Club to show that there's something out there that is new with technology and everything else. And I had a fun time with it. You could actually put a marker in. It looks like a Roomba, but you could actually give it coding and then you could draw something. Or you could have like play golf with it
Nice.
online
So
or play football.
you basically showed them how to make robots so they could be our robot overlords. Is that what you're?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not wearing
Said the
my
man who's
Skynet
constantly
thing right
playing
now,
with
but I
AI.
am wearing my OCP shirt, everybody.
Yes.
So, all right. But to move on and to come towards the end of this particular podcast and this stream, this is where else could be people could hear you. So, Rob, do you have any interesting facts or any information that you want to give to the people out there?
Yeah, so I know a lot of, I know people been wondering what happened to my podcast, Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. And honestly, we basically came to a conclusion with that podcast and decided that we were going to start a new one. So, which is now called Filmtropolis. And so we are changing the format, and we're also going to be on YouTube from this point on. So we're still kind of working out the kinks on that, and but it should be kind of exciting. We are going to be talking about the same things that we talk about here, which is pop culture, references, but also basically either old movies that we've, just like we did in Fantasy Picks, or we're going to be exactly doing some spotlights on movie composers. We're big music fans here, so we also want to at least throw that out there and give those people recognition for, the type of movies that we like and how, what makes them that great is sometimes that score, which is great. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's all there is. It's just, we're just coming up with this thing and just trying to have fun with it.
All right.
So that will hopefully come out soon.
All right, cool. And for everybody else, I could be heard here as always on Panels to Pixels podcast. You could also hear me on my other podcast, Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, on the Powercore Entertainment Network, where I cover action, adventure, movies, suspense, and thriller films. The last episode that we put out recently was In a Violent Nature with my friend Jamie Dimmick and myself. So check that out if you can. We will be going back to regular format. We were doing Interview with a Vampire, but we will be coming back around probably within another week or so and doing Queen of the Damned. So the Vampcast will be back, which will be a collaborative podcast with Podcastica. And just to round out the whole Vampcast before season 3 comes out for Interview with the Vampire, and we'll be back to regular format as usual. So if there's anything you guys want to do, you know the procedure. All you have to do is contact me at adrenalincinemapodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to take part into a movie review that we haven't covered already, all you have to do is have a decent pair of headphones. See, we're wearing them right now, and you can see us on video for those who are on YouTube. We have a microphone. Everybody has access to these things. There are Yetis out there. There are Shure. They're all within reasonable prices, and a computer and a decent, literally a decent network connection. That's all that is needed. So with that, literally in your access to Zoom or StreamYard or whatnot that I'm using at that time. So with that, we could actually get together and have a conversation about those movies we love, or if you didn't really love it so much, we could have a whole debate because obviously there are a ton of movies out there, and I'm sure Frank will have a ton of movies
Oh,
on
I
movie.
will.
Oh, he will on the next iteration of what Fantasy Picks Movie Edition turns into. So just contact us at adrenaline cinema podcast@gmail.com. And as always, you could hear me, like I said, here on Panels to Pixels podcast. Frank, I kind of plugged you a little bit, but I guess with Rob to question him, when will that episode be out?
Oh, well, we're still in the planning stages. And
Soon,
so
not now.
we're hoping that by the end of August, our first episode will be up.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So Frank will have a segment to himself, by the way, everybody. So
I
Yeah,
will.
he plans to torture us with some really, really bad B movies.
Hey, they're only bad if you don't like them.
Oh boy.
all
You
right.
might end up liking some of them. Who knows?
Well, yeah, we'll see about that. It's what
I doubt it.
it's gonna be our torture segment of the show.
It's
All
gonna
right,
be
folks.
flickalicious.
Yeah,
It is flickalicious.
I'm
That
sure it
is
will be.
true. All right. So if you like what we have done here tonight, please let us know. This was our first live cast on YouTube, let alone live podcast. So if you like what we have done, all you have to do is leave us some feedback. And as always, you could just email us at panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels, two is spelled out to pixels, and the number one at gmail.com. Or you could just go to our Facebook group, which would be Panels to Pixels at Facebook. And there you could just leave a comment. And I put out several images. All you had to do is put a comment below the image of what we're covering. And I will be doing that yet again when we start covering, guess what? Snowpiercer. It's already out, but we're going to cover the first 3 episodes all in a row and just have fun and play catch up and have fun with that. I know we're a little bit behind. Steve was out on vacation. Kat has been behind, probably dealing with a lot of goats on the farm, but we're going to have fun and we'll talk about the first 3 episodes and have fun with that. We could be found on Instagram at Panels to Pixels Podcast. And we could also be found right here on YouTube where you could see us. And if you're not seeing us, you're listening to us. But whatever. You can find us on Panels to Pixels podcast on YouTube. Obviously, subscribe, ring the bell, and get notified when any episode is up. We'd like to do some more video. Hopefully, I'll get this refined at a certain point, and it doesn't look so bare bones, but we like to have fun, and who cares? You can also leave us a rating or review on any of the Apple, podcast players of choice. Apple Podcasts or Spotify would be the best. 5 stars would be highly appreciated, but be honest. And then on top of that, leave a comment too, as well, because I've gotten some negative feedback before, and I have no problem with reciting whatever you have to
Feedback is a
say.
gift.
What?
Feedback is a gift.
Feedback is a gift and it's a learning experience. It's learning
right.
what you did wrong or you did right. Who knows? But well, the next episode we will be covering our thoughts of The Boys season 4 as a whole season review, everybody. So we're gonna have a few people on there just to talk about our favorite moments within The Boys season 4, our unfavorite moments where honestly I feel bad for Huey. He got beat up a lot.
Yeah.
And our thoughts about that before we get into the final season, before the final season, which will be season 5 of The Boys, which will probably be another year and a half or a year and a half. So other than that, I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Frank.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.